to the Roy Rundown, a podcast designed to share insights and secrets from top experts in the college sports landscape, guiding you along your own path to success. Join us in real time as we build Roy, dive into the latest NIL trends, and uncover stories from the movers and shakers in the sports business space. You'll hear from an all-star lineup of guests, including athletes, coaches, agents, fans, athletic administrators, and more. Whether you're a student athlete, passionate fan, or anyone in between, this is your go-to resource for leveling up in the new age of college sports.
Welcome to the Roy Rundown. Diego Pavia.
I appreciate you having me, Kevin.
So again, we are thrilled to have another game-changing college athlete here and join us. He's hailing from Albuquerque, New Mexico, known for his electrifying play style, his leadership both on and off the field, and several other things that we'll get into. But someone who's obviously a great athlete, but more importantly, someone who truly embodies what it means to be a leader in today's competitive college sports landscape. The current quarterback for Vanderbilt University. Again, officially welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me, Kevin. It's an honor to work with you for sure.
All right, so to kick it off, and before we hear about your upbringing and get into some of the topics, I have to ask you a quick question. Last weekend, game at LSU, crazy environment. I have to ask you, first play of the game, right? You're on offense. First snap of the game. You break the huddle. You're looking around Death Valley, 102,086 fans, I checked, right? And within seconds, you toss a 60-yard bomb for a touchdown. What is going through your mind? That was the first time you played there, right? Walk me through that situation.
Yeah, so we had the play drawn up all week. So every game before that, we've ran the ball on first down. So we knew, they're going to play us up front, up close. And we, our receiver Q Skin just ran a great route, and he got behind him by about 10. He was wide open. But it was just an awesome feeling. Like even that first down, it was so electrifying in the stadium. Like you couldn't hear. So we had to change our cadence to a clap, and that was an awesome feeling for sure, though.
I think I texted Adrian that I almost broke my TV. I was hyped. I was like, the first play, I didn't expect that. I mean, that's awesome. All right, so I just had to ask that first to break the ice here. So let's talk about growing up in your early football career, just to kind of share with the audience. So obviously from Albuquerque, talk to me about growing up with the sport. And I know you played other sports. I know you have some brothers, and just talk to me about your upbringing.
Yeah, so I got two older brothers and a younger sister. It was me and my two older brothers for the longest, though. My sister's like 12 years younger than me. Or 11 years younger than me. And, they just really just beat me up and showed me the way. You know how big brothers are. They pick on you until you're, too big to get picked on. And so that was something that happened in our family. I wrestled since I was 3 years old. And that really put on my mind, no one can beat me one-on-one, because it's a one-on-one sport and it's you versus the other person. And it's who is better. And so I took pride in wrestling, and because if you lose one-on-one, that's someone taking your manlyhood, you know what I mean? And so I took pride in that. And then I translated that into football. I've been playing football since I was 6 years old. My mom lied on my birth certificate when I was 6 so I could play, because the minimum age was 7. So she lied about that. She helped me out. I got put on a football team. I played running back when I was younger, and then I transitioned to quarterback. And then, I just love the sport. I love playing quarterback. There's nothing in the world like college football. College football is the best thing that ever happened to this planet. And, I just don't want to cut the game short. I really seriously love this game. I love, the teammates that it brings me around. And just the people around it too. It's just been an amazing ride. I love it here at Vandy. There's nothing like the SEC, I can tell you that.
That's awesome, man. So what Well, one more thing that I read, I need confirmation because I'm trying to figure out, I love the grittiness and just like the personality you play with, right? And that underdog mentality.
Yeah.
Did that come from your mom? I think I read somewhere something along the lines of like, if you lost in anything, she would say, "Don't even talk to me." Like, is that true?
Yeah. So like my mom, when we would, because wrestling's a one-on-one sport, and like if I lost in wrestling, she would like she had like a little poke that she would do, and she would like poke you, and it was like don't talk to me, you know what I mean? And like it was just like you on your own if you lost, and that's why I hate losing like to this day. Um, like for example, my sister lost her first high school she's in eighth grade. She lost her first high school basketball game the other day, and I was like, "Well, what'd you tell her after the game?" She's like, "I haven't talked to her." I was like, and so that's just how my mom is. She's competitive too. She wants to be the best mother in the world, and I could just she won't tell you that, but she like you could she shows it. You know what I mean? Um, but she's someone who like I can depend on, and just she's there for me, and all of us get like frustrated and stuff when we lose. So
I
yeah,
can tell.
I
I
don't
can
hold her
tell.
to it,
Yeah,
but
it definitely comes from
yeah,
mom, and I know, just a couple of your brothers at least. I've met them, met one and talked to another one. I can already tell just the family, you got this competitive style. I love it. I love it, man.
yeah,
All right. Well, I want to. So I don't want to dive too deep into the recruiting process and the JUCO, and a lot of people are familiar with your story, but I really want to double down on you in the now and the future, right? So I want to kind of jump forward to Vanderbilt. Like, talk to me about what attracted you to Vanderbilt? The community, the fans. Like what ultimately, obviously, I think coach was, one of the coaches was part of that too. So talk about getting to Vanderbilt, and then we'll go into the details from there.
yeah. So coming to Vanderbilt, I came because my head coach in Mexico State and my offensive coordinator, along with the running back coach, the quarterback coach, Coach Rice on defense. Like it's like moving houses. It's like not the house you live in; it's the people that are there. You know what I mean? And so it was a no brainer to come here to Vanderbilt. And when I got here, I was kind of like tripped out because all I saw was orange Tennessee hats or red Bama shirts, and I'm like we're right here. Like I'm right here. Like what? Vanderbilt's right here. Why isn't no one wearing Vanderbilt stuff? And I literally didn't see anyone wear anything Vanderbilt until like the start of the season. So that was like something that struck me. It made me pissed off, kind of. Um, but then just like off of the first game, like it changed. It really did change. That's something like that comes with winning. You got to be a winner for people to follow. You know what I mean? And so I'm so thankful for the fans, and especially the student section too. They show out every single weekend, and I'm excited to play every Saturday because I know the fans are going to be there. I know they're going to show out, and I like playing for them.
That's great. And yeah, I imagine for your competitive spirit, that was one of the reasons that, kind of brought you there as well is, obviously every single fan base around the country is not the same, but for you to bring your talents there and help want to win. And because that community's there, but like you said, I mean, results speak. So for you to go there and win, you knew they were going to come. And talk a little bit more about like a game day experience, right? So I know you've talked before about your celebrations in the end zone and like just how much fans really fuel you, because I could see you, feeding into it. Like you make a play, like
Yeah.
you are hyped. I'm sure there's, adrenaline, but is it the fans? Talk about that.
Yeah, so when we walk out like from the hotel to the stadium and there's fans dapping you up, like I can't tell someone how great that feeling is. And then second, when you make a big play and the crowd erupts, like when you're at home and it's gets loud, like it's like really like get into it. You know what I mean? It puts a smile on my face right now. Like I can't even talk about it without putting a smile on my face. But like the fans are like it's 50%, you, and then you're 50% the fans really. But like they don't understand how much they mean to me. I feel off them. And it makes me go harder.
And talk to me about the Alabama game real quick. I don't think we can just skim over that one because you made history, right? So What talk to me about that feeling, and then also just like the role that the fans play, because I think obviously I wasn't there and I was watching, but it was hard to tell. There were a lot of Bama fans there. So like how important were the home team fans for that win?
Yeah, I remember like on a third down, they took they got a false start penalty because our fans were so loud. So I was really happy about that. And then on big time touchdowns, the fans erupt. They love that stuff, and so just keeping us hype is the biggest part in their doing. And I can't thank them enough. They're a huge part of the reason why we beat Alabama. We were blessed enough to need out on our own home field.
And when people say fans, like I mean myself included, I kind of go to just like your general fans, your community, the people that live around there, the alumni. But a lot of people don't talk about students. Like I think it's a bit more prevalent in basketball because the student section is right there on top of the court. But for football, I was reading, I mean, the student section's been sold out, and just people haven't been able to get tickets. Like, I mean, on campus, can you go anywhere? Can you go grab a coffee without people, like cheering you on? Like, does that hype you up for game day or what?
Yeah, when people are like, "Hey, kill it this weekend," like I feed into that. Like I want to play for those guys. They rep Vanderbilt how I rep Vanderbilt. I wear the same t-shirts that they wear. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I love that. Obviously, they need to change the rule, or not the rule, but they need to get, I guess, a bigger stadium for all the students that want to come. They should allow every single student come into the stadium, and even if it costs money for the school, like they should help the students out. They pay tuition to go there, and they should have all the access they want to the student tickets, and eliminate away opponents, their fans, from coming. But yeah, that's something I feed off of. I love the students. I want to show up for them when they come to football games.
That's great. And we'll talk a little bit more shortly here about like how fans play in the NIL space. But real quick before we get there, I just want to touch on a couple of football things. Obviously, bowl eligible for the first time at Vandy, I believe, since 2018. Like, what's it been? And also another stat I'll just kind of throw out there because I know you're too humble. But leading rushing quarterback in the SEC. I'm pretty sure. I was looking at stats the other day. It's your top 10 in all leading rushers. Like, forget about quarterbacks, right? So, like, what's it been like? Taking that position as a leader, and just having a historic season that I'm sure the fans have been wanting for a long time.
Yeah, like I knew what I was capable of coming into this season. A lot of people didn't, but honestly, it's bigger than me. It's my teammates that allow me to do that and be the leading rusher and be top 10 and everything. You know what I mean? I couldn't do it without them. But it's a blessing. I still got 1 game to go or 2 games to go, and I just gotta take it day by day and compete.
No doubt. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit because you talked about your teammates and you talked about the community, and we talked a little bit about NIL. So NIL in general, what's been your experience? Like maybe some common misconceptions that fans have about the NIL landscape, because obviously everyone knows it's you say NIL and it could mean a million different things. Right, for you, like how's the experience been, and how has it helped you guys win?
Yeah, so NIL plays a big factor in the college landscape, and that's just me being honest. It allowed us to win because we were able to get recruits that are 4 or 5 star recruits that usually don't end up at Vanderbilt. In my case, I wasn't a big time recruiter or anything like that. I was just following my best opportunity, and I wasn't highly paid like how some of these SEC quarterbacks are, but I wanted to do it to prove myself, to play in the SEC, big time football. I wanted to do it for myself and just that self hunger that I can play in the NFL. But NIL just plays a huge role in if you want your team to be great and you want your team to win a national championship, it is big on NIL.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely plays a huge part. I mean, I think it's obvious to everyone that college sports are fueled by passion and that deep connection that fans have with their teams and with their favorite players, right? And in the NIL era, I know it's new to some people, but athletes finally have the opportunity to benefit from their hard work. And let's just be real, benefit from the billions of trillions of dollars that are generated, right? And just take a piece in that. And, like at Roy, we saw that traditional systems often prioritize the big donors and the corporations, which are great for what they have, but they leave out the important part that we've talked about. They leave out one group, the everyday fans, right? And so that's kind of where we step in, and we give fans the power to directly support their favorite athletes and really make a meaningful impact. And so it's not just about like watching the game. Like now fans can be a part of it. So I guess I'd love to hear your reaction. Like the first time that we chatted about Roy, do you remember your first reaction? Because I remember both yours and Adrian's first reaction when I was telling you about Roy. But do you remember it, or what do you like about it?
Yeah, I remember exactly what I liked about it. I was like, okay, it gives the fans like an exact like, okay, I'm donating to that player. I want to see him play. Like he's playing for me now. You know what I mean? And that was like kind of the strand that I got. And like when I see people like, okay, like that's who I'm playing for. You know what I mean? Like just go attack the day. And just I was just so thankful when you brought it up, because I feel like a lot of fans want to do that. You know what I mean? But I'm just blessed, and I want to see Roy grow. Like it's just an awesome thing that you guys are doing here.
And so the two things, well, another thing that I remember distinctly, like the first reaction, you might not remember because you probably do all the time and you're humble, but when I talked about the opportunity to have fans support you financially, like directly, you had two responses. One was, how can I support my teammates? And how can I give back to the church? Right. And like that, those hit for me. Like that, I mean, that just kind of speaks to your personality, but it's also a powerful statement of, like NIL is not just a transactional thing. It could be life-changing for many people, and it could allow athletes to change other people's lives. And I think that's kind of what, your mindset that you've taken, because it's not all about the dollars. It's about putting yourself in a position to get to that next level, but also leveraging those dollars while you can.
Right. Yeah. I thought you meant like while we were talking. I remember we talked about like giving it to the church, 10% or
the portion of whatever you make.
Yeah. Whatever I make, to the church of my choosing. And that's just something that, I like to do with the funds that I get. I feel like it's big in my role and in my faith, and I just want to give back,
And we also talked a little bit about, and I want to get your kind of reaction or feedback about two things. One, the fact that, like obviously there's instability on rosters and there's craziness with the portal, and being a former athlete, like athletes should have options to go wherever they need to, especially because there's situations, right? You should have the option to go to the portal. But one thing we're trying to do is stabilize rosters and help athletes build a fan engagement with their community, so that they can get extra NIL dollars, but also they don't have to go start over again somewhere else and leave just because of the money. And don't get me wrong, there's situations where money speaks, no doubt, right? But just the fact that what I'm getting to is the fact that if a fan wants to support, it really is risk-free, because they're hoping that the athlete stays and they get exclusive content, they're part of the team. But if an athlete does go to the portal, they get all their money back. And so you're kind of like, well, yeah, obviously, where I think some fans, some other athletes or some other people are like, it's all about the money. Well, it's about the money if you produce the content and you stay, and build with your community.
Yeah, that's what I like about Roy too, is I feel like I'm a loyal person, you know what I mean? I've been loyal to Coach Kill, wherever he's went, that's where I'm gonna go. And so that's what I like about it. Like I'm here at Vandy to stay. I'm not gonna lie. That's who I am. And so for the fans here, you get me an extra year, like I'm staying. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm letting you know out, like I'm gonna be here.
I love it. And the other thing that I was going to mention too is you hear some of these horror stories where it's like, the NIL deal is done, but is it really done, and who signs it, and is it a future promise? And so I think one of the things that we've built purposely into the user interface is that transparency. And that was one of the things that you mentioned too, is like you get to see every single dollar. Like how important does that role play in a deal you would do, or in actually like, connecting with people that do support you? Is like, it's not like a future promise. This is money to you, and you get to see it, and the fans get to see where they're giving their dollars.
Yeah, I like that. I like the spectrum of doing that, just because I know how much I'm getting. I know the truth behind it. I know who's giving it. I'd just be super thankful for any money that I get, to be honest. But like I said, I'm going to be playing for, the donors that are donating to me, and that's why I come out whether I'm injured or not. Like, I'm going to be on the field, in regards to them and my family and what I come from.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we can keep talking about how fans fuel you and how important they are for your success. But as we wrap up here, I want to talk a little bit about Diego off the field, and just your future NFL aspirations. One of the things I saw in your Instagram stories somewhat recently, I'm sure you do it a lot, is you drive by Nissan Stadium and you kind of project that, and I'm sure you write it down. Like, is that your goal? Is that your goal to get there in the future? Like, where's Diego in a couple of years?
Yeah, I want to play in the NFL for sure. Like, that's a dream of mine since I was a kid. I just got to keep playing football how I am, and God will lead me where I need to be. He doesn't mess up, so I'm just super thankful for the position that he's put me in this far, and just whatever team that drafts me or gets me, I can promise one thing: they're going to get a competitor and someone who doesn't like to lose, and someone who won't lose, and I'll boost the team in any way that I can possible.
I love it. All right, man. Well, the last thing I have for you right now is called the Roy Rundown Rapid Fire. I'm just going to shoot some questions at you, and you got to give me the first answer that comes to your mind. You ready? I'm going to put you on the spot. You ready?
There might be some crazy ones.
What's your favorite color?
Red.
If you had to play a sport other than the one you're playing right now, what would it be?
Basketball.
Let's go. I love that. If you could have a dream NIL deal with any company in the world tomorrow, what's one that comes to mind? I'm sure there's a lot.
Ferrari.
Ooh, nice. Who is the funniest person on your team?
Big Low.
If you could trade places with anyone in the world and live 1 year in their shoes, athlete, non-athlete, who would that person be? First person that comes to your mind.
Drake.
What's one of your biggest strengths?
Being a leader.
Who is one of the first people to really believe in you?
My mom.
What is one of your biggest fears?
Not being great.
And last one here, what's one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self in high school?
Keep going no matter what.
That's it. Short and simple, man. Keep going. I love it. It's obviously been the mantra for your career. Well, look, man, I appreciate you coming on. Your grit, your determination, your mentality, and passion for the game. It's inspiring for not just your teammates and fans, but everyone who's tuned into your games. Obviously, everyone here at Roy is cheering for you. Congrats on the success you've had so far, and I know there's a lot more coming your way. So thanks again for taking the time to join us. If you're listening, we'll make sure to include all the links to to his social stuff, to his Roy campaign, and we will see you here soon. I know you got some more W's to get before the end of the season.
Let's do it. I appreciate you, Kevin, again. It's awesome joining the Roy family.